Hi everybody, it's Kelly from LOCH BRIAR Knits coming to you from a very sunny, warm Nova Scotia, Canada. Welcome everybody, welcome back to all the returning viewers and a warm welcome to all of the new viewers. Hope you guys will stick around. You can click the subscribe and like button. Subscribe button, you can get notified of when the new episodes are up, and the like button just helps me get the word out about the podcast. So feel free to click those, and I have quite a bit to talk about today, but I'm hoping to keep this kind of short and sweet because the lighting isn't working with me today. It's sunny, and I normally, when I'm recording here, I record in the morning because that's when the good light's coming in. But it is it is not good light right now. It's episode 82, I think. It's been 6 weeks since I've podcasted, which I've never gone that long since I've started podcasting. So I ain't comfortable here. But I do have a lot to show you. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 finished objects. 5. That's 5. That's 10. That's jazz hands. So, grab your beverage of choice. Mine today is a big stinking jug of lemon water. I do not drink enough water, so I'm trying to remedy that by drinking like 2 of these a day. But if I don't have this with me, then I won't do it. So I brought this out to the summer house with me because I find if I have this and I have the lemon in it, then I want to drink it. But I think there's something also about the straw, because if I have it in a just a regular bottle of water, I don't drink it the way I do. Like there's a straw. I don't know. There could be some logic behind that, maybe. I'm gonna put like a little footstool under my feet because oh, that's better. I had my yoga block, but I don't know where it went. So right now I have a stack of books and a game. You hear something topple over, that's what it was. Okay, this is a knitting podcast. So let's start off with the oldest whip, which I'm going to apologize now because I've worn them. So they do look a little beat up, but I will put them on the sock blockers for presentation points. These actually I finished shortly after the last podcast. So, and I'm completely forgetting Trailhead Yarns. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, brain, for spitting that back up. So let's get them on the matching sides. These are my Trailhead Yarn Determined Salmon colorway socks. I just did plain old vanilla sock. Dog hair was added afterwards. Just the Eye of Partridge heel, and I did like just a short 2x2 ribbing. Yes. And then my Kitchener toe, and I noticed one of my woven in ends is now kind of poking through, so I've got to put that back in. But these are cotton. It's a cotton blend, cotton and nylon. I think it was it like 75% cotton, 25% nylon? I don't have a thing, and I'm going by memory, and that's always a bit iffy. But I think it was something like that. So those are done and completed, and they're very comfy. They're nice and light, great for the summer. And I enjoyed knitting with the yarn actually way more than I thought I would, because it's been a long time since I have actually knit with cotton yarn. But now I have 2 finished objects with cotton. So that's the first one. And then the second one is another pair of socks. And this one is out of my yarn, which when I was knitting them, I kind of realized I don't knit enough stuff out of my own yarn. And the reason for that is not because I don't like my own yarn, because I really do, but I only do, I do very small batches. So I don't like pulling a skein of yarn from the batch, you know, where the batch is already a limited supply. So, but every now and then I can't help myself, and this was one of those cases. This is my September Morn colorway, which I'm hoping to get some more of this dyed up, my fall colorways dyed up within the next couple of weeks. I was hoping to have it done by now, but there were a bunch of mitigating factors. And so that didn't happen. I'm also in the middle of doing a bit of a revamp of the shop. So there are some skeins that are in the shop now, some new colorways, but the bulk of the autumn and also the Christmas colorways. I know Christmas, but I think if you're knitting something for Christmas, especially if it's as a gift or anything like that, you're probably gonna need the yarn ahead of time. So I'm going to try to get all of that done up within the next month. But these are the September. That was a little segue into shop news and back to the finished objects. For any of you who are new to the podcast, I have a hand-dyed yarn business, LOCH BRIAR Knits, which the shop is on Etsy. All of my social media and links, etc., are going to be down below, rather than me like shooting them at you right now and expecting you to remember all of them. So it's just easier and less time consuming. So these are really shorty socks, by the way, which I'm finding too, especially in the summertime. I like kind of having the option of some shorter socks, just to kind of slip on. If I'm wearing them with boots, I want them to be a little longer. I want them to be at least to about here. I'm short, so I don't need like a whole lot of length. But if I want a little bit peeking up out of my boots, I'm going to have to like go a little higher. But these, let's see if I can get this. This is like this, I'm trying to see if I'm in the frame here. This has got like some really sort of pale green and then pops of red and orange. And I'm trying to see what other colors. Oh, and we got some yellow in there as well. So the way I kind of do the autumn colorways, I have September Morn, which is this one. I'm totally forgetting the October one. Falling Leaves. That doesn't sound right. And then November is Embers of November. And kind of each colorway sort of shows the beginning of when the leaves are just starting to show a little bit of change. And then the October one is when they're sort of in full bloom, and the Embers of November is sort of when they've passed their peak and we're heading towards winter. So that's kind of my whole thought process between doing these. But I do have another, like this hardly, I don't have the skein with me, but this hardly took anything at all. So I have enough if I want to make myself a hat, which I may just do a slouchy hat to go with this. Because who doesn't want matching hat and socks? That's probably a fashion faux pas somewhere. But anyway, so that I have a lot left over. And normally when I do a pair of socks, because I have small feet, like I'm a size 5.5. And when I do a pair of knitted socks. I have a fair bit of yarn left over. Like I could probably knit 2 pairs of socks out of 1 skein of yarn, like 100 gram, 400. My skeins are 463 yards. So yeah, I can easily get like 2 pairs, which I don't really see. That's the problem I have is, is I don't always want 2 pairs. Like I love this colorway, but I don't need 2 pairs of the same colorway. So I always have lots of sock yarn left over, which is great when it comes time to maybe make a shawl that has multiple colors in it, but you don't need like a full skein for all 3 of the colors, things like that. I think that's what I did with my, was it a Tammy Gore? The autumn one I did? Anyway, that's pretty much what I do. Or I'll throw it into my habitation throw, which is still an ongoing project. I haven't touched that for a while, but we have a 4-day weekend. We took Friday off and came out to the summer house. We're here until Monday, so I may get a little work done on that. That's kind of my pickup when I need like a mindless knit. And I think right now I'm just starting the decrease half of it. But, so I forgot where I was going with that, but that's finished object number 2. I think we're going to be hearing that a lot. Where was I going with that? I feel like I'm a little out of practice. So the next finished object is my super simple summer sweater number 3. Now I'm going to preface this. These next 3 things are not soaked or blocked. I have not had time to do that yet. I kind of, I finished them and then things just got crazy with work and all this other crap. I'm gonna put it on for you. This is made out of sugar bush cabbage, which is a, I hope I got it on right side, or the right side facing. It feels like it did. I think so. I've decided for all of my sweaters now, when I finish it, as soon as I finish it, I'm just gonna go put like a little like colored piece of yarn loop, just kind of like woven in on where the back of the neck is, because I find it really hard to tell sometimes. So I'm going to move my stack of books and try to step back a little so I can show you. There we go. So this comes right to kind of my hip bone, which is exactly where I wanted it. And this is the Sugar Bush Cabot yarn, which is a cotton linen blend. So this is Stormy Skies colorway, and this is Silver Dollar. And so get up close, you can kind of see the colors, really light gray, and then the really nice dark gray. And I love this sweater. Like, it just fits so nice. It's so comfy. This yarn, come back at you. Now the key is to actually get back where I was. What was I saying? Oh yeah, this yarn is very light. It's very comfy, very soft. And I know once I block it, it's going to be even more so. So, yeah, that's one of my projects when I get back home. I was going to bring my stuff with me, and then I thought, I just didn't want more stuff to kind of pack because I was in a hurry. So this is finished object number 3. Now, I will say for this sweater, one thing was my hem. There's a motorboat going out in the water there. The hem, I forgot. I can't remember if I forgot or if I just decided not to. I didn't go down a size on the ribbing. And at first that bothered me. It doesn't really bother me now. I was thinking I could always kind of like take it off and then go back and redo it. But I think once it blocks out, it'll be even fine. It'll be better. But it really doesn't bother me. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of people looking at the hem anyway. And I think it looks fine. But I love the sweater. I love, I've knit 3 of these now. I think what I might do in the future at some point is I may do a color block version where I just do, I'll do like one color like to maybe here. And then the last 2 stripes, I'll do another color, and I'll kind of do the same with the sleeves. And the thing about this is, it's really warm, so even for a cotton sweater. But I think, yes, I did have that on right. I love the structure of the sweater. I love how easy it is to knit up. Like, it's crazy, crazy easy. And I always say that, like, I only started knitting sweaters 2 years ago, maybe 2.5. I'd never knit a sweater before. The idea of knitting a sweater absolutely terrified me. I was convinced I was going to mess it up completely. And my first sweater was a Joji Locatelli sweater. I did the Puntilla sweater, and I knit that in Illimani, not the Savory line. Yeah, I forgot what line it's called. But it was, that was my first sweater, and it's literally still one of my favorites. And there's like some little mistakes on it, nothing major. But I wear that. Actually, you know what? I think I brought that with me. It's in there, but I'll show you. I'll show you. Let's see. Why not? Here we are. For anybody who hasn't seen it. I'm not putting it on though because it's really warm. But this is literally one of my favorite sweaters. So there's like a couple of little spots where I think I messed up the increase a little, so the stitch looks a little sloppy, and there's like a couple little things where I don't actually know what I did, but it, you know, I can tell that there was something funky. But this yarn is so beautiful and drapey, and it's so soft, and it fits exactly the way I like my sweaters to fit. So, and same with the Super Simple Summer Sweater. So I like Joji Locatelli, her sweaters are beautiful. And there's a few more of hers that are in my queue to do. So this is finished object number 4. This is a shawl, which I've talked about previously. Make sure I'm showing you the right side. Because I love wearing all the woolens on a warm day. This is the Unwind Shawl, and this is by Tracy Miller of the Grocery Girls. And I started knitting this around the beginning of lockdown, and I spoke kind of previously, might have been last episode, I think, where I was kind of explaining how I mucked up the sizing a little of the rows because I wasn't really paying attention. So I had to sort of, I think it's this section here is not exactly the way it looks if you followed the pattern correctly. But I actually really like how I can't see if I hold this up. I don't, oh no, I can see through it. So I love the design on it. I don't know if that muffled my voice or not, but it's nice and light. I knit this out of this colorway here is a homespun house from her Game of Thrones club, which was House of Stark, and then this is Evie Knits, and I think it's her pewter colorway. But I love this, and this hasn't been blocked yet either, because that's one of the it's one of the to be blocked items. But I love it. It's so soft, it's so drapey. One thing I really love is the bind off she has you do. I don't know if you can tell from here, but you can kind of see it makes the bind off edge kind of very like wavy. Oh Lord. But I love how that looks. So yeah, that's beautiful. I can't wait to wear this fall. I think that's going to be one of my go-to shawls. I find that, I don't know if you can tell from there. Oh, right now. Kind of see how wavy it is from that angle. And the yarns worked like perfectly. So I don't know if any, for those of you, I'm not sure, not everybody has done this, but it's got like the little eyelet. It's got stripe. This is the right stripe. This was the incorrect one. But I just love it. I love it. I would knit this one again. But I love the way it fits. It's the perfect, I find, size for a triangle shawl. Sometimes I find triangle shawls for me, because I'm not a tall person. I'm a whopping 5'2"1/4". That quarter is what makes me taller than my mother, and she argues it every single time. But I tell her she's 70 something now, so she's shrinking too. I am a horrible daughter. But I find, like, for me, this comes down at the perfect length for fitting, like, with my clothes and stuff like that, without feeling like it's kind of overpowering me. Now, if it's a super cold day, I'll break out, oh, what's the one, the Courage shawl that was made out of, was that TK or worsted weight? I think it was worsted weight. I love that shawl. I love that shawl. I'm actually taking that to the office with me. We start back next week. It has been so cold in that office. And they tell us that we have the ability to control the temperature, but it doesn't matter what I put the temperature at. It's cold. I jacked it up to like 24 degrees. It's still cold. Not 24 degrees. That much I know. All right, so that is finished object number 4. And then finished object number 5. So for any of you returning viewers, anybody want to take a guess what that was? It is my childhood sweater. I finished this one yesterday. I wasn't going to record the podcast until I finished it. I finished it, got all the ends woven in, and now I just have to, and I put a little hook in it so I knew where the back was. So this is by Anka Strick, and again, I'm going to back up because there we go. So it's a turtleneck, and the ribbing on the turtleneck I love. It's like a 4x1 if memory serves. 4x1? I think that's what it is. And it's got a little bit of a curled, rolled brim. And I knit this out of, let's see, now there's no point doing that because I'll put it on. Lost Lake. Oh, wait. I don't know why I bothered brushing my hair. Oops. Here we go. Okay. So this is out of Knit Picks Heather Lost Lake. Still gotta go back further. There we go. So again, it kind of hits like right around my hip, and it's got this really cool, I don't know how well that's going to show up. I'll show you the one on this side maybe. So it's got like these little faux kind of seaming here and then here and up the side. I don't know how well that's showing up. And I made the sleeves a little longer because I actually love my sleeves long, and I think this is the first time I managed to get them the actual length that I like. I always misjudge and end up with a little shorter than what I wanted. So this was literally the first time. And actually one thing I did do wrong is the cuffs were supposed to be 4x1 ribbing, kind of the same as for this, and I did 2x2. But that's fine. I like the 2x2. And I almost forgot to change, well, sorry, it's not that I did forget to change over to the smaller needle, and I was like 5 rows in, so I had to like tink back 5 rows and then switch my needles over because I was like, why does this look so much wider than the other one? But this is, oh my God, I'm gonna live in this sweater when the weather turns cool. So I'm like, I have all these sweaters to wear now. I just want the weather to get cooler. And I'm sorry for all of you people that love the summer, but I'm over it. There. Okay. Whew. But if anybody is looking for a really cozy sweater, I can't recommend this one highly enough. It was really easy. The only part I think that I had to really take my time with was there was a lot of shaping, German short rows and shaping kind of coming down through the neck here, just because it's a turtleneck. There was more than if it was just like a crew neck or something. But once you got past that, it was smooth sailing, and I really enjoyed it. Like I would... See, here's the problem is when I find a sweater that fits me exactly the way I want my sweaters to fit, I want to make more of them. But at the same time, there's also all of these other patterns out there that I want to knit. So and there's just not enough time in the day because apparently I have to work for a living. So that is the end of the finished objects parade. I don't think I've ever had that many finished objects before, but then again, I've never taken 6 weeks off podcasting before, so maybe that's the key. So next up is, oh wait. I also have a hoe. I went and bought a bunch of the Knit Picks Felice yarn. They had like, I think they had a sale on where you could get 1 ball of each. And I thought since I usually only ever need 50 grams, I thought I can use, I don't need to buy like 2 balls for 2 socks. I can just do like kind of shorty socks and get it all out of like 1 ball. So that's what I did. So this is the first one, and I thought, I was kind of, when I was doing it, I was thinking, do I want to do like alternating or okay, I'm totally blanking, but you know, heels and toes cuff matching. Oh my God. Brain fart. And I was going to, but then I was like, I wonder what it'll end up looking like if I don't. So this is what it looks like. It's like, it kind of comes up here. So I think, you know, if I had maybe started here with the white, I kind of pulled off when I was doing the cast on. I pulled off more of the white than I needed for the cast on. So I only had like this little bit left, but I wonder if I had used all of the white, if that would have pushed this down to make it a full stripe here, and then it basically probably would have just finished with the green. So I'll try that on the next one, make sure that I start with like a full color row and see what happens. Yeah, so I don't know if that'll work or not. I don't know. But again, it was just like straight up vanilla sock. And I did it even shorter than my other ones. So this is basically like just above my ankle, which I was just going to put it on my foot and hold my foot up for you to see. And then I remembered I'm wearing a dress. So I'm going to spare you guys that. It's not that kind of podcast. But yeah, so I started the second one and I kind of pulled off enough so it's starting at the same spot anyway, so at least they'll match. Because what I basically did was I got to the end of the sort of orange and then I started the heel. So I do that, then it should technically kind of look identical to this, I would think. But this is the carrot cake colorway. Now, I don't understand why it's called carrot cake. I have had carrot cake. I don't remember seeing any of these colors in it, but I do like these colors. And then I've started the second sock, and I don't know if, like, this is kind of what I pulled off in order to get down to the correct color, and this is how much I have left. So that's going to be more than enough to finish. And if not, I still have the other little leftover ball. I have the hiccups now. That's what you want when you're podcasting. Good old case of the hiccups. So that is that. So now that I have both of my sweaters off of the needles, I am casting on the new one. So I am doing another Anka-Strick pattern, the juiced, and I don't know if I'm saying that right, number 2. So this is just kind of like a crew neck. There's nothing out of the ordinary that I can tell from this. Detailing wise, I can't really, it just looks like your basic crew neck pullover. I'm trying to see if she has any detailing on the side. There might be a little kind of along the side. I can't really tell, but this almost looks like it might be all in one, sort of. That's my technical term. I don't really know if it's right or not. I'm just trying to see if there's a seam there on the arm, and I don't think there is. So I think you must do what you kind of do with the Super Simple Summer Sweater, where you just keep them on the needles and just like put the stitches on hold and then start the sleeve once you're finished the body without having to pick up the stitches, which I love. It's so much easier. So that is next. But what I'm doing for the yarn is I'm using Cascade in the, I was going to say the Bone colorway. My dad's nickname is Bone. It's a long story. We won't get into it. It's not as salacious as you may think. I didn't put the things in here. But it's Cascade yarn, and I think it's called I think this color was called Bone. Something tells me I might be wrong. So this is going to be the majority of the sweater, but on the hem, like, and the cuffs, and maybe the neck ribbing, I'm not sure. I don't think there's ribbing on the neck. I think it's just a roll neck. In which case I probably won't. Yeah, it's just a roll neck, so I probably won't. Maybe I will. Anyway. It's mostly this, and then on the cuff and the ribbing, like the ribbing areas, I'm going to use this, which is Cascade in, I think it's called Gold. I think it's just called Straw. So I love the look of these two colors together, and it's worsted weight, almost an Aran weight. So I think this will knit up pretty quickly. So I'm going to cast it on today, hopefully. Get started on that. The other sweater, I'm going to cast on two. I'm going to have a fingering weight, and then I'm going to have this one. And the fingering weight one is made out of Knit Picks Stroll Tweed fingering weight, and it is called Farmhouse Heather. Now, I don't know if this is going to show up. It's this beautiful, rich brown. So hopefully that kind of shows. I love this color. I love brown. Like, I love brown. I love earth tones, and this, I mean, really brown. How much more earth tone can you get? So I'm going to do the Weekender Light with this, and oops, if I kept the pattern. So I bought a sweater's quantity of this, enough to do the Weekender Light, and that's going to be my fingering weight yarn. Now the other thing I did was, because I finished the unwind shawl and I don't have another one on my needles, I just like to have a shawl on my needles. I probably have more shawls than anybody needs, but I may do this as a gift. I may do this as a gift. We'll see. But I'm taking part in Isabel Kramer's cowl, and I'll put the name of the cowl down below. It goes until December 31st, but it's basically a kind of knit whatever you want from her patterns. She's got a thread for it, and you can sign up, and then she's drawing prizes, I think, kind of as the thing goes along and things like that. And I love Isabel Kramer's patterns, and I was so tempted to do one of her sweaters, but I'd already decided to do these two. But I've been dying to do the Paris Toujours sweaters. So I have some, what's it called? Estelle Indian yarn, and it's in sort of I don't know, maybe like a medium blue color, and I had enough for a sweater's quantity, but I was kind of looking at it going, I don't know if that's really quite a color I want a sweater in. So I actually had it onto the yarn to sell or trade, but then I was kind of looking at that going, you know what, that would be a good color to do the Paris Toujours shawl in, and then I may end up doing that as a gift for somebody for Christmas, who I won't mention here. Not that it would matter, because I don't think they would. I know they don't watch this, so. But they might get that for Christmas, or they might not. It depends on how much I like it. I mean, if I get through it and I'm like, damn, I really like this, I'm going to keep it for myself, because that's how I roll. Anyway, so that brings us to acquisitions, and we're already at like 42 minutes, so we're going to motor along. I made some purchases. So I bought from Wool and Twine Fiber Studios. Now she makes hand-dyed, let me get this right. It says, this skein has been ethically sourced and naturally dyed by hand, respecting natural resources and keeping the process as sustainable as possible. So it's got like a nice kind of, it's soft, but it's still like toothy, or it's got some grit to it. But this these three, which reminds me, did I email her to tell her? It took a while to come because I ordered it in June. And of course, with like COVID going on and everything was kind of backed up. So I had emailed her, I think it was a week ago, maybe a week and a half ago, and just said that it hadn't arrived yet. And I didn't know if she, like, I thought, well, what if it like bounced back to her or whatever, because, you know, the mail's a little crazy. But it hadn't. So I thought, okay, that's fine. It's just like, it's just en route, and it's just taking a little longer because it was coming from Frankfurt, Germany. So, and I know when I had ordered yarn from Fiber Tales, who is in Denmark, I think it took about 3 months to get here, and that was without COVID. So I thought, you know, it's just taking its taking its time to cross the Atlantic. But these are, oops, wait, see if I can, okay, let's try it this way. So the tags aren't covering up the yarn. So these are the three skeins, and these are part of the shawl, the Woodlark Kit Sage, and the Woodlark shawl was from Fiber Tales, which I saw on her podcast, and I loved it. Now, if memory serves, it's got a little bit of color work in it, which scares me a little because I haven't done color work yet. But, or was it mosaic that she did it? I forget. But I haven't done color work yet, and I keep telling myself I'm going to learn how to do it. So I think what I will do is I'm just going to do like a swatch just to practice the color work with this, and then go from there. But I do really want to knit that shawl. But that's probably going to be like a January project. But the other thing I got was West Green Loft Knitter or yarns. Honestly, look at these colors. I couldn't decide which to get, and I thought if I'm ordering from the UK, I might as well make it worth my while. So the colorways are, I love her colorways because they're like these beautiful sort of gentle, muted colors. And I got all of the classics, her classic sock base. So I'm going to totally butcher this, and my Scottish ancestors are going to turn over in their graves. But Brock to rock, I don't have my 10 rock. So, and then this one is Lollyrock. And then this colorway is one of the Jane Austen ones, and is that Farrah's with an S. So I don't know what I'm going to do with these two, but I think I will use them together, just because if you can see, like there's some really good color blend there. But this one is going to go in my City Limits sweater. So here's what I'm going to do with that. I didn't bring the yarn with me other than this one, but the City Limits sweater by Tannis Fiber Arts, I think, am I saying that right? I believe it calls for mohair. So I don't have any mohair in my stash, except for like one skein, which is not gonna be enough to do the sweater. I also hate knitting with mohair. because it's so thin and it's kind of annoying. So I'm going to do, I'm taking the gray, light gray, kind of a light, I'd say it's definitely a light gray, from the Juniper Moon Harriet Fine line. And I have 3 skeins of that, and that's going to be my base color. And then I'm switching it out with, this is going to be, I think, is this the final color? And it starts off with like a gold, and then the next color is from Barnyard Knits, and I can't remember the colorway, but it picks up some of the gold, but it also picks up some of this as well, but its colors are a little more darker and vibrant, and then these ones are a little muted. So it goes the gold, and then kind of the gold's going to be a solid color, so it'll look kind of marled, and then it'll fade into the next one, and then it'll fade into this one. So I'm hoping that looks good just when I hold it together. I really like how it looks. So, and the gold was from, was that one of my Birch Hollow ones? I think that was one of my Birch Hollow skeins. So, and I'll show that on the next podcast, or when I get a little closer to knitting that. That's probably going to be a New Year cast on, which I plan on doing it this year, but time just got away from me. So that's all the knitting. So I kind of mentioned with the shop kind of revamp update. I'm hoping to have some new colorways up in a few weeks. I'm not sure when, but definitely I want to have them up in a few weeks, because I don't want to leave the autumn colorways until autumn's almost over, and I want to get the Christmas ones out in time for anybody who wants them in time for Christmas. So, and then I also have some other colorways. So I do have some DK weight that's going to be coming out, and I have a new old base that I had done previously that I want to try some stuff out. I also have some mini skeins that will be done up as well. And that's about it. So life stuff. We are returning to the office. I've been working at the office, so 2 to 3 days a week during lockdown. But I've been the only one in there. But everybody is starting back on Tuesday. So I'm a little nervous about that. It's kind of stressing me out a little. Maybe because I really enjoyed being the only one in the office. But yeah, I'm not super comfortable being around groups of people right now. And they made me what they're calling the COVID captain. I was on vacation, and I saw an email go out to all of the staff across the country saying that, kind of designating the COVID captains for each area. And apparently the other people volunteered, and I got voluntold through an email to all staff. That's how I found out. So that kind of pissed me off a little bit. And that's the day job news. So the other thing I did, I'm still not going back to the gym, but I have 3 different workout programs that I signed up for online, which was Case of Fit, which is a lot of mobility and strength work. Abby Pollock, which is Transformation Nation, which is a lot of strength and high intensity interval training. And the other one is, I'm going to butcher her name because she's from Prague. Corinne Dmitrievova. It's a long one. I saw hers on Instagram and I kept seeing, and it was kind of learning how to do arm balances and handstands and really developing your core strength and your mobility, which is exactly one of the things I wanted to do. And I've always wanted to be able to do a handstand. So this kind of shows you how to build all of that and get you there, and doing the arm balances, you know, like the crow pose in yoga and all these other crazy things. So that's my fun one. that was my fun one, but it is extremely hard. So anyways, those are all ones I can do at home. So I kind of have those to do. So I've kind of did up a schedule of get up in the morning, walk the dog, write for an hour and a half, because that's the other thing I want to get back on schedule is my writing. And then go to work, come back at lunch, walk the dog again, go back to work, come home, work out, eat supper, relax. There's some knitting in there at the relax point. So that's kind of my work week, and then the weekends are a little looser. But I find that, like, well, we've been in lockdown, my schedule just went out the window, and I got a lot of knitting done, but I didn't get a lot of the other stuff done. So I find that I just feel like I need to get myself back on track, and I always do well with a schedule. So that's my plan. And that is about everything. So I'm going to let you guys go. We're almost an hour right now, so hopefully this isn't going to be too big to upload. I might have to do some editing. So I will see you guys in 2 weeks' time, as per usual. And until then, happy knitting, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And I will see you guys soon. Happy knitting. Bye.